Hey, what's shippers, and welcome back to my channel. So today we have Sebastiaan
Hello.
here in Netherlands. So we are in Netherlands, and it's my first time visiting shrimp hobbies in the Netherlands. So thank you for having me here. Thank you for hosting me. Really nice of you, and really appreciate it. So Sebastiaan, finally we are here, and could you maybe walk us through your setup?
Yeah, definitely. Nice having you here, first of all. We've done quite a lot of renovation. You've been part of the renovation and especially part of the hobby. We've worked on a little bit on the website as well in the past, on the
Right.
blog as well. So it's nice. We've met each other in Finland for the first time in real life, and now been visiting us, me and my girlfriend Roos here in Spult.
Yeah.
And we have basically, this room is built in a barn, one of the barns we have here on the property. So it's basically a box in a box. I think that one of the things I wanted the most is to have a clear overview of the different tanks, and to have a system where I could start with a selection on the top line. It's easy to check, it's easy to monitor, and then all the offspring or all the males could go into the tanks below. So the setup is basically 3 tank setup per group of shrimp. So far, with all the renovation work, I haven't been able to put the shrimp in all the tanks. But today I think we made a good start with the ideology behind it.
Right. So
Yeah.
we started selecting, we put all the buried females from all these tanks over to here, so that we can have all the babies over here, right? So that's
Yes.
the whole idea of it. And then once we have all the babies over here, we will then remove them into a mature tank that is right here, to really let them grow out and really grow faster. And we also did something that you said that you wanted us to do, right? You wanted us to take some of this good,
You wanted to learn some of the selection, especially. I think I've doing the hobby now for 3 to 4 years. With obviously the renovation in between. So the last couple of year and a half, you don't have that much time to focus on the shrimp. But it's nice to be here together with someone else, to just have a second opinion on what is the definition of quality in a tiger shrimp.
Right.
And then especially also the, how do you call it, the conversation about the whole quality as a whole, because I find a fancy tiger, maybe a different type of fancy tiger, more beautiful, and then I would steer more towards that type.
Right.
For example, the group we have made here is more focused towards the fancy tiger having a more darker red instead of the more vibrant red. So that's also nice to having Ben here to just discuss and talk about the shrimp in general.
Yeah, and one of the things that is very different from what I've seen a lot of tanks is you have this fluffy
moss,
fluffy algae or moss or whatever you call it, and the shrimps really go and consume them.
Yes.
So if you can actually see over here, there is no fluffy algae or mosses over there, because those are all consumed by the shrimps. So these are really good stuff, like all the biofilms has been created, and all the shrimps are really going after it. So that's also the reason why we wanted to have this tank with so all of this is buried. All these females are buried, and once we have all the babies, they will go into one of these, and boom, they will really go. Yeah.
And it's like there's a balance between the fluffy stuff. I think for this type of, I think it's a 60-liter tank or a 50-liter tank. But I think if you have 20 plus shrimp, the fluffy stuff will always go down. And I think everything below it, especially if you start a fresh selection like this, it will often stay around this stage.
Okay.
And until the smaller shrimp come in and they start to grow, like for example with the blue bolts, there's no biofilm anymore.
Yeah.
Unless I forget to put on the light or there's a Wi-Fi error and they're going for like a week. But yeah, so today was just talking about the selection process and how you can optimize in a 3-tank setup and use your tanks to the most benefit.
Yeah, and you want to talk about
a little bit about the stuff.
All this stuff.
Yes.
I mean, we used this, right?
Yeah, for a long time.
For a long time.
because this one didn't work. So so I think that also states an interesting topic, that having a backup is always important. So for now, the question was whether the new shrimp didn't have a too lower pH,
right.
but this one didn't have a battery, so we can always fall back on just a basic drop test. So that's always important. And I think the interesting thing we just mentioned now is most often when you begin the hobby, you buy all these different products.
Yeah.
But in the end, I think you use your minerals, you use your food, but all the powders can be a bit daunting at first and end up being just a lot of extra weight in terms of how do you call it, nitrate builders or stuff that breaks down, that causing algae. So now I think the stuff I use is maybe the clay powder and maybe a shrimp fit because it has some beneficial properties for the baby shrimp.
Right.
Especially in a tank where there are so many shrimp like this one and this one. I have an idea that if there's not much biofilm, it can help this baby shrimp find a place to like really graze and maybe give an extra push on the algae growth. But other than that, I think nowadays you just use your minerals and that's it. And I think the powders that I use are more that it's in my routine that I'm using it every time than it is necessary.
And I see that you have the exact same setup with the pots and the plants.
Yeah.
So how does the plants actually help?
Well,
do you think it helps in the overall ecosystem?
It helps because I think it looks pretty.
That's
the first thing. Yeah. And I saw it on obviously on one of your videos, and I think having the pot there helps you with the root growth not going into the soil that much, so you can keep it a bit more contained. Obviously the roots now starting to go down, you can just cut those off. But I think the balancing in the tanks, I've tried floating plants, all sorts of mosses, and almost all of them are causing trouble on the long term, especially if you don't have that much time on your hands and you are maybe in a situation where you only have time to go in one time per week into your area, into your shrimp room. A floating plant is going to take over in like 2-3 weeks, and I have some pictures of that it's like it's everywhere and it's in the soil. It's a big mess. So I think having them in the pots is just it's just nice visually. It's nice to, if you have to make a lot of changes in the tanks, you just put the pots out and you have a clear work area to work with the shrimp. Because as we've tried now, netting them out with the left hand can be a bit difficult. But I think that's the main reason. I think aesthetics, it look nice to have sort of a baseline in your tank. One pot, one filter, one air stone, and then the beneficial properties of obviously helping with the cycle. And then I think just for the baby shrimp as well, some hiding shrimps.
Yeah, so I think this is overall really, really good. So you're saying that you're gonna tear down this whole place. Yeah, you're gonna tear down this whole place and redo it again. Yeah, right?
As part of the bigger project on the property we have going now, is the barn. The barn that we are in now is pretty rotten on the outside, so it just has to go. So this is getting rebuilt, and I think we just talked about it. What would be your number one priority be? It would be the sink.
The sink.
I don't have a sink here, and I do with the top of RO water and a towel, and it works. It works fine. It will be much more efficient if you have a sink to clean my hands, to clean my tools, to just have something to wash stuff off with. For example, the glass panels that help with the humidity, evaporation, they get dirty so often. It would be nice to just rinse them. So so that's I would definitely change the sink, and maybe if there's some time over, maybe an automatic water change system. But I think my enjoyment would be more in setting it up and thinking about the system than actually using it, because now with just a general water pump and a IBC tank, it works fine. So the water comes in with a garden hose. I have a booster pump because that really helps with getting the RO water. And then I just flush it for a minute. I have a automatic switch off here in the tank, and I just leave this on. And normally now it was winter time, so I've shut down all the water. It's getting on now. I will just leave it on.
Right.
When I use it, it automatically fills up, and that works fine. And I've also pictures from the early times. I just had the bucket, but with the floating shutdown, and it was just in my living room, and it was just switching off and on. And I would use it, and then the pump wouldn't be so big, but there was just a pump inside, and I would switch it, and it works.
It works.
Yeah.
Awesome. So is there any other things you would like to share with the hobbies outside?
I think in the end, the most success I've had is don't put too much time and energy in it besides the regular maintenance. We've talked about this in the car. I think especially during periods where you don't have that much time to be here every day.
Yes.
It's the moment you start giving more attention to the basic water change, do it once a week or once in 2 weeks, you start to notice the shrimp health going up. Obviously they can go, I think in these mature tanks, they can go a month without a water change without a problem.
Yeah.
But if you want to have the healthy shrimp and the healthy cycle of breeding and a lot more baby shrimp, it's definitely beneficial to have a regular water change schedule and try to stick with that as much as possible.
Right.
And no fancy stuff.
Yeah.
Just
I agree.
the basic, a water change,
Yeah.
decent lighting, a plan to help with the nitrate cycle, keep a check on the biofilm and the amount of shrimp in the tank. But that's the only thing I would advise is just stick to basic water changes, keep it simple, and just enjoy the hobby, not too complicated, because it can give you a huge headache.
Right. Awesome. So thank you, Sebastiaan.
Yeah, no
Appreciate
problem.
it. And for those who are watching this video, very much for watching. And until next time, peace out.